that I look ugly. So what? How does it make it any different? What if I'm ugly? Being ugly or pretty is not a metric for availing human right. And you think I haven't heard this before? I was born as a dark-skinned girl in India in the mid-90s, and my whole teenage years people have been telling me or insinuating that I look ugly. And I survived it. Now I know how this works. So you tell little girls that they are ugly and they spend their entire lives trying to prove you wrong. And then you shame them for vanity. Now I don't care that I don't fit into your Eurocentric Brahminical beauty standards, and I'm so happy to stay out of it and stand out. Some of us don't fantasize looking like people who slaughtered our ancestors. So let me be ugly in my own way and move on. One of the major insults I get.
This was revealed by I see some letters on Instagram, and you should see the comments about it. It's a bit of back and forth, but I like to point out some things that she said because I think it's really valuable. The fact that we tend to put so much weight on beauty and a particular standard, it's what sets apart the perception between ugliness and not having it nor being like it. It's just like the perception in the middle, and of course what's been happening around. And it is really interesting because she started like receiving a lot of comments saying like, you're pretty inside, and now you're gorgeous. And she just wrote a comment telling the following: just to clarify, this jabbing was a response to the comments and DMs I received after a few posts where people call me things like burned coal, burned ugly, and others. India has a huge colorism problem, and I've been hearing these things since childhood. India also has this kind of we're conquered as any other countries including mine, so I understand the colorism problem because we face it here as well. I continue reading. Now these Instagram kids and adults are just repeating them to appear cool, in quotes. I thought I would talk about it. I never said I believe I'm ugly. I only said I don't care whether you think I'm ugly or pretty. It's such a meaningless thing. And I mentioned in the video, I know why many don't consider me pretty because of Eurocentric Brahminical beauty standards. I love that phrase, which I have no interest in fitting into. So if you find me ugly, I can do anything about it. That's your problem. I am not going to perform beauty, in quotes, for you. If you think I'm pretty, cool. But some assume I actually believe I'm ugly and need reassurance, while others assume I don't think I'm ugly, but just want attention. Either way, I can't win. And I think this clip is like pretty clever, because if you get like a response back after you hear this video, you look beautiful and you speak with so much grace, it's like you're missing a bit of the point of what she was talking about. It's great that you consider her pretty, but it's also valid if other people consider her like maybe she's not the point is that it's not to fit in some type of standard, but particular individual standards. We have these patterns set up in our heads that we tend to start like fitting everything inside our own boxes. Is it good? Is it wrong? It depends on the scenario. It depends on the context. But she wants us to see, and I want you to see, that those boxes can be opened. Probably you're seeing through some kind of glasses that were really like resistant glasses that someone put to you. Maybe you're seeing through other people's eyes. Maybe you're seeing through other people's perspective because you grew up seeing those perspectives and mindsets. Is it good? Is it bad? It is not bad having standards. It is not bad having tastes. It is not bad you looking for a particular other according to what you like. What it is bad is that you will like everything to fit no matter what the circumstances. That is when you start crossing the line. And when you came across someone on the internet and telling that person like, hey, you're ugly, you should be out of the internet, what are you doing here, and insulting that person, that is when you want everyone to fit into your mind, into your thoughts, into your standards. That is when it is bad. I think aside from people telling her that she is pretty, the point is to recognize that we are biased most of the time. That for us, being pretty or ugly have so many dimensions. And now if the person, if they didn't get the message right, maybe just thinking this person is ugly is something that could be like grown in their heads. It is not, as I mentioned before, it's not a matter of if this person or any other person is pretty, ugly, whatever. It is the fact to recognize that persistent bias in our head, standards, beliefs. When we start recognizing that, we actually start like opening the eyes and see like, well, maybe I think this person is ugly, but just for me, not for anybody else. And that's why I cannot be shaming this person, letting this person know how I think she or he or any other is ugly just because of this person isn't fitting my standards. I also read something recently that is like a journal or a magazine that is called the Architectural Review. And why am I pointing out something that it starts with architecture? Because it had like a pretty interesting article by Stephen Bailey, and this was something like a decade ago. The Ugly Truth, the Beauty of Ugliness. I think we all have seen this art, this portrait. What I really love about it is that she is smiling. So just continue for having that in mind. I'm going to read some paragraphs because yes, they have some kind of architecture on it, but the opinions are really valuable. We all enjoy beauty, but an appreciation of ugliness is necessary to it. The beautiful and the ugly are not opposites, but aspects of the same thing. concerned what people think about your house? Wish your partner were better looking? In dieting, getting a tan or going to the gym, choosing a better choice, having an exhibition or shopping at a specific place or center. We are trying to acquire beauty to give us a personal competitive advantage. But don't worry if you feel ugly. Perceptions change. Darwin explained our need for beauty in saying that raising attractive children is a survival characteristic. I, for example, may feel the need to fuse my previous genetic material with yours so that humanity continues in the same fine style. But there may be a mathematical as well as biological basis to the conventional ideas of the beautiful. This is what the Greeks believed. Beauty can be described by numbers. Classical sculpture was based on strict ratios, and classical architecture is pleasing because its proportions are based on the field of vision of the human eye. The strange truth is, too much beauty will be intolerable. An awful world of meticulously cropped lawns and starch materials, but also shapes. We only enjoy the ephemeral deliciousness of beauty if we have an active concept of ugliness. Heaven needs hell. Follow this argument to its conclusion, and you will see that a measure of ugliness is essential to keep our appetites alive. So exactly how much ugliness should be maintained in our world? Should we actually encourage its production? What's the optimum exposure to ugliness? Should there be quotas? Ugliness deserves to be understood, but when you begin to examine it, the idea disappears. Our obsession with beauty and our fear of ugliness, like so many other traditions, food marks, cricked in public schools, for example, goes back to the middle of the 19th century. They use the term uglification to describe the changes to town and country, also by the industry that forced, and they were particularly finding it as disturbing. Ever since, we have something that separates good and bad. We like it or we simply don't. We are in a continued debate about aesthetics, and we will never end. Beauty is no big deal, but the lack of it is. Maybe, but if everything were beautiful, nothing would be. Did you consider yourself pretty, ugly, something in between? I think that when everything collapses, when we have contrast, and we just stop having them, that is when we actually appreciate the opposite of the other, when we just lack a huge part of it. So I follow that phrase, that what if the entire world was filled with pretty things, beauty all around? Now ugliness will be the new standard. So appreciate yourself, but also notice your biases and how this affects your surroundings. It could also benefit them, but when you use it wisely, and when you're conscious about it. See you in another video. Bye bye.